In this video, we're going to look at the relationship between Cleopatra VII and Caesar, Julius Caesar. We're to recall the events of 48 to 44 BC to understand her political position. Those are key words: Julius Caesar, spelled like that; Ptolemy, Suetonius is one of the sources; Caesarian, pleasure cruise, holiday, Senate, the ruling group in ruling body in Rome; dictator, the Roman phrase, a Roman title for somebody who rules with absolute power, no consul, above the consuls; and assassination. So let's just finish off the Alexandrine War, which we mentioned in the previous video. So the war raged 48 BC when Ptolemy the 13th sees Cleopatra's little brother, who, by the way, remember, she was also married to in the Ptolemaic fashion, though they never appeared to have sex. She certainly had no children by him. He had won the civil war, exiled her. She had snuck her way back into the palace, shacked up with Julius Caesar, and become quite influential that way. Ptolemy didn't like this and launched an attack with his troops, remember, mostly ex-Roman troops, Gabinians, and hemmed Julius Caesar and his probably 1 legion of troops in the palace at Alexandria. So for a few months, this sort of siege went on, lots of daring do's, daring missions, quite close shaves, urban fighting, but in the end, it comes to nothing. Caesar's reinforcements arrive. Ptolemy and his troops leave the city and form up outside Alexandria for a proper battle, in which they obviously get completely mullered. And during this battle, it is said that Ptolemy drowned while trying to cross a river. So that's the end of him. So Cleopatra is now in sole control of Egypt. She is said to have ruled very competently beginning in 48 BC, really put things back in order. And again, we can see she's pretty much in sole charge because, again, her face appears on the coins by herself. So it is probable at this point that she gets married to her little brother, Ptolemy, the 14th now, because a woman can't rule by herself. So again, he is very young at this point. During this period, was being quite a competent ruler, she takes Caesar on a long river cruise. Gets the royal barge and goes for a tour up the Nile to tour her kingdom, to show Caesar the sights. It takes a few months. Caesar has time off. It's during this period that Cleopatra falls pregnant, almost certainly with Caesar's child. So let's have a think about their relationship. When Cleopatra gives birth, it's a son. He's nicknamed, he's gone down history as Caesarian. Caesarian is a nickname. It means little Caesar. His name is Ptolemy. Ptolemy Caesar, to give him his full title. Of course, he's a Ptolemy, so he has to be called Ptolemy. But what we want to mention in this section, it's not a simple Cleopatra seduces Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar has been around a bit. He has slept with lots of women. He's very famous for it. He has slept with lots of queens. Seems to really like it. Look at his quote here from Suetonius. He even made love to queens, and he gives you a list of some of the queens that he's had sex with. He did love Cleopatra. He in fact summoned her to Rome in the end, it says, and allowed her to call her son by his own name. It is something that upset the Romans. They're afraid that he wanted to change the law to allow him to marry as many wives as he wished, so he could have lots of kids. That's only a rumour. But this last line here, Caesar had this disgraceful behaviour and adultery. In a certain speech, called Caesar a man for all women and a woman for all men. Basically, he's a slut. He's a well-known womanizer. He wasn't simply seduced by Cleopatra. Their relationship is mutually advantageous. It suits both of them. He clearly fancies her. He's she finds him quite attractive, maybe, but certainly they can both do each other favors. She can competently rule Egypt for him. She needs his protection to stay on the throne of Egypt. Caesar travels back to Rome in order to sort out everything that he's sorting out. About 46 BC, Cleopatra follows him. She's not lovesick or anything like that. She goes in huge procession into Rome in 46 BC because she wants something. She wants the Senate to officially recognize her as Queen of Egypt and a friend of ally of the Roman people. That's the key bit. And she's not a truly independent monarch. She only rules with Rome's help, with Rome's say so. So she needs the Senate to officially recognize her. So she spends over a year or so in Rome. Caesar fits her out with a nice palace on the outskirts of Rome and scandalizes Rome by putting a statue of her, dressed as the goddess Venus, in a temple he's built. And the statue is quite important. Venus, goddess of God, and the goddess of motherhood. She's often depicted with a child. By this point, of course, Caesar has Cleopatra has a child with her. She has Caesarion, Ptolemy Caesar, who everyone knows by rumour is the child of Julius Caesar. This does scandalise Rome. As you all know, in 44 BC, Caesar is assassinated. He has himself made dictator for life, and the Senate, some senators, suspect he plans to make himself a king, and that is something Romans will not stand for. And in March 44 BC, he is assassinated, putting Cleopatra in great danger.